People want to get closer to what's actually happening. In other words, when we see a financial result, if it's good, we're happy, and if it's bad, we're unhappy. But we usually don't know why. There's so many different things that go into that result. So if we can get people information about what's actually happening at the property, who's doing what's working and what's not working, what interventions are we introducing into the system, and what impact are they having, that's where people really understand the asset and what's happening on site. And it's very different than just trying to read the tea leaves behind a stack of financial numbers. The upshot of this is that if you really know what's happening on site, you can intervene before things start going down. So very often, if all you're doing is looking at the financial data, you don't have time to really stop the problem, and you're in a very reactionary mode. But if you have insight into what's happening on a day-to-day basis in the property, then very often we can avoid those issues because we're able to intervene before it turns into a real problem.
So give me a scenario. If you have a real example to give me, great. If not, just give me a scenario how this would sort of play itself out.
Well, we might have a property where we haven't allocated the staff effectively, and so the on-site team is not keeping up with their responsibilities, and it's going to affect tenant satisfaction. We might have worse retention. We might not be able to get the rates that we're looking for. On the other hand, if we know up front that somebody is struggling to keep up with the work, we can apply another person to that property, change the prioritization of what they're working on, and keep the tenants happy and excited about being there, which has many positive impacts down the road.
You have a greater understanding, being a property owner, as to the common issues that happen, so you can be ready for it before it happens.
Not only can we be ready for it before it happens, but we can do things to avoid it happening in the first place. So, for example, we might decide that there's a certain list of things that has to happen on a regular basis at a property, and we want to make sure that that happens every time for every property without fail, and doing those things on a regular basis in a structured way that we can track and understand that they're actually being done will solve a lot of problems before they even come up.